Does your transportation, could it take people to the VA hospital?
We take VA every day.
They go to Nashville from Louisville for one person.
The other thing is that was really nice is, I had asked you and Tommy Lee that I had pursued like 5 grants earlier this year, and we were able to get one grant, the $20,000 grant for the walking track this year, and we almost got the other one, that was the $200,000 grant, so that was really great, so.
And we do, also, with, I know we've been working on Parks and Rec, and we've actually prepared a Parks and Rec, like a strategic plan for just that area. We've not delivered that yet, but it's ready to go, and you'll be getting it shortly as well.
Yeah.
Tons of services like that. Let me just step back up and say, you've used Tommy Lee, obviously, he has a wealth of knowledge, I can't argue that. We're a benefit that you either take benefit of us or you don't. We're going to provide you everything we've got to offer, or you can choose not to choose anything out of us. That's a decision that you make. Some communities, we live in. We're there every day, it seems like, and we're doing services every day. We'll provide that same service here in Canyon County if you call upon us and say, this is what we need. But it's going to determine by what you ask us to do. If you ask us to write grants, we're going to write grants. It don't matter if it's for $200 or $200,000. That's what we're here for.
Any other questions? Mark, appreciate you coming.
Thank you. If you need anything else, please feel free. I'll be glad to follow up. Thank you.
Next item I have is Barrett Group.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. It is my pleasure to be back today and give you an update on the work we've done collectively together. I want to start by saying that the mayor's office and all of your constitutional officers have been more than helpful to the extent that they could on the projects we're working on, including in between all the other projects they've had going on yearly for the county. What I want to start with is a review of the revenue that, let's remind those in the audience that haven't heard what exactly we do, and I want to talk about the success we've had thus far today. There we go. It helps if I hit the right buttons. As a reminder, the county hired the Barrett Group to come in and review revenue sources, looking for missing revenue, slow-moving revenue, or other opportunities. And the intent and the promise I made was that the things we're looking for are things to help mitigate or lessen any impact from a property tax increase. I know that's always one of the options for the county, and our goal was to say, let's see what's there first that can come in easily without having to go that route or lessen that impact should that be a decision by your county. So that's what my focus has been on, looking at your current tax revenue streams, those that are available to you statute by law that you may not have been taking advantage of or not fully taking advantage of. So that was the focus of my efforts. We've completed a review of 7 tax streams. Let me back up. When I say we, I know I'm the face and I'm the name for the Barrett Group, but we have 3 employees that I utilize. 2 of them are stay-at-home moms. So while I get to be the face up here, I have some wonderful, great people that are participating in helping these counties, not only your county, but the other counties we work with. So please don't just look at me and think this is it. I've got some great people behind me, as I know all of you do in your offices. So we've completed a review of 7 of your tax streams. 4 of them are completely implemented. 3 of them are going to need some action by your county commission tonight. So let's go over those that have been implemented and the successes we've had thus far. Why is that not showing up? Give me just a second. Here I am looking at screens and you can't see what I'm looking at. Let's even do the good part. sleep mode a little too long. There we go, all right, right. Okay. These are the recoveries to date. We looked at your sales tax collections. There was no inappropriate findings, no findings we could find there in just general retail sales tax. Everything was going where it needed to go. You were collecting everything that we know that's out there of the businesses that report. Your hall tax was the next review. And when I spoke and presented how the monies would be coming in, I talked about two different categories. We'd have one-time monies, which were those when we could go back and claim back a year or more, depending on what the revenue was. And then there would be the reoccurring money for both those, and then reoccurring money for those that were brand new opportunities you had been utilizing. So your hall tax, we actually got to get twice the bang for our buck, if you will. You've got a one-time recovery of $12,033.61. Yes, okay. That was submitted and received by your trustee in the July distribution that you received. You also had in that same distribution an increase of $12,033.61. So you got twice the amount of money coming in July for that, that's an annual distribution. On a side note, with your hall tax here, that is going to fluctuate on a couple of things. One, how well someone's investments are doing, what all they keep in investments, and as you know, the hall tax is set to fade away. It's still currently there. Anything can change in the General Assembly, but for right now, that will fade away. So while you do have that reoccurring extra, this is extra reoccurring money. This is above and beyond what you had budgeted last year. So you can count on a number not higher than that coming in for the next few years while hall tax is still there. So that's a caveat on that one. Under the sales tax, there's a breakdown of utilities. You have 3 utility districts that supply Cannon County, both the county and your city. And what you had was some monies going to, that those utilities owed to the county because they were servicing county employees and it was being distributed to other jurisdictions. So this first one was Woodbury Water. Again, another, I don't want to say double dip, but we got twice the bang for your buck on the review here. You got a clawback of $19,856. So that's 1 year's recovery back. And beginning with the month they started paying that, and I think that may have been February or March when Woodbury Water started, for basically for the next, every fiscal year going forward, you're getting an additional $19,856 in sales tax from that source. The second utility was DeKalb Water. Same situation there. There is a one-time clawback of almost $3,000, $2,676, and then a reoccurring annual increase in that sales tax of another $2,676. Again, as you grow or water usage increases, you're going to see an increase in that number. The last utility was Consolidated Utility. It's a smaller number of people they were servicing, but they had about 67 residents in the county that they were servicing. That money should have been coming to you. It was going to Rutherford County. So we were able to recover, again, about $438 in one time, and going forward, about $438.41 in the sales tax category. During my first presentation, this body agreed to an increase in the litigation tax. That is implemented and is bringing in, we are anticipating conservatively $12,785. We've had, I think, about 6 months of that implementation. That number, so the numbers we're using are conservative. That may go up slightly, but you can count on that number for litigation, assuming your litigation stays at the level they're staying right now. Again, that's annual increase, new monies to your general litigation tax. And then the last thing that we implemented, that we identified that's in full implementation is your archive fee. And that is set to generate $18,847.08 based on the monies that are coming in now. I think we're about 6 months into that implementation also. But these numbers you're seeing here are either the actual reoccurring revenue, whatever we're gonna get, or the conservative based on what's come in thus far. So I'm happy to say that not only did we find $66,636.10 in reoccurring money, you had a one-time, collection of $35,004.02. So that is something you can add to your bottom line for recurring revenues from the year, from here going forward. Now, I'm gonna go and talk about what the income that will be generated on 3 proposals I'm gonna present tonight. So I want you to see the numbers first before we start talking about the details. Some of these proposals we've talked about generally in past. But we're gonna look at 2 items in your general sessions category. One is a general sessions judge expense that you have, and an opportunity to have $20,000 reoccurring. Again, these are conservative numbers, and thus far we beat our conservative numbers every time, but we can, this, I'm comfortable we can bank on. So, $20,000 for the general sessions judge tax, $85,000 increase, again, these are increases, general sessions tax limited to jail and or courthouse expenses. And then the adequate facilities tax that we've talked about in the past, I want to bring up, put you some numbers to it and answer some questions, additional questions that have come up on it to give you an opportunity to really see this application as well. And this $99,000 that we're looking at for reoccurring on that is based on your last year's growth, and I'll get into those numbers in a moment. If you have any questions, let's back up. Were there any questions about the recoveries today?
Go ahead.
Okay. And if we can save the questions about this income, I'll present 3 ideas, and then we come back and we take questions and then vote on them individually if that's the will of this body. All right, let's talk about the jail and courthouse litigation fee. You all have these proposals, these resolutions in your packet, and you reviewed them. This is a fee that's collected by both the county and circuit court clerks. It's currently at $60, and your breakdown right now for that $60, $50 goes into your general debt service fund, and $10 goes into general fund for courthouse security needs. The resolution you have, which is allowable by statute, would increase this litigation fee by $50, and that $50 would go directly into general debt service fund for jail and or courthouse. Knowing the needs you have now is why I put jail expansion up here. I think that's probably out of those 2, that's your biggest concern right now. So that could be allocated directly to that. And as indicated, it's $20,000 conservative annual revenue increase to be budgeted for that. Any questions just on this presentation? Okay,
Now, we're bumping this from $60 to $110.
yes, sir. And I will tell you, this is in line with what surrounding counties are doing.
Do you know what kind of increase in jail population it's going to cause people flattening in their sentences?
Those numbers I'm not aware of.
Never gave you thought,
That's not part of my calculations, unfortunately.
it should be.
What's, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you guys said.
I asked her, I said, we're bumping this from $60 to 50. I mean, 50 to 60 to 110. And I asked her if she realized how much increase in jail population that may cause by people flattening their time and not paying the fee. And she said she didn't think about it. It's not in her purview.
It wasn't part of the formula I put together. My goal is to look at what your options are out there. The application is in your court systems as well.
Yes, ma'am, but it's in mind to see that's going to affect taxpayers in this county.
Excuse me, but it's for civil and criminal, so there's a lot of civil cases that would not be going to jail, I'm guessing, right?
I'm not concerned about the civil case.
I think, Russell, I understand what you're saying is there's gonna be a lot of people who can't pay that, so they'll go to jail, right?
That's correct.
But do you get out, I mean, they don't relieve you of the fine just because you go to jail, don't they? So
pay.
You still got paid.
Not from what I hear from the people that have experience.
And along that line-
I'll defer to the sheriff.
I just know if they go to jail, they come up with $300 to get out real quick on bonds, I'm sure they pay an extra fee.
And this is a
Not
great,
expensive.
great segue into something that I don't have part of this, but something I noticed when I'm going in. I know that, again, as I indicated, your constitutional officers do a great job. I know you're looking for the chief financial officer to come in, which you've been advertised for and budgeted for, or will budget for. That collection aspect is somewhere where you probably could use an extra heavy hand. And that financial person, that could be, it should be part of their duties, is to kind of be that extra enforcer for those departments that have enough on their hands as it is processing the paperwork, much less trying to go out and do collections and enforce that aspect. And your financial individual focusing solely on maximizing the revenue that this county has, or needs, looking at the processes. I think that
Not to
can.
speak for,
Sure.
not to speak for, and Chris, you may want to weigh in, though, but don't judges have the authority to basically decide on the person to pay or not? You said the judge, I mean, if they're addicted, they're poor, or they're, unable to pay, they can come back after, when their probation is ended, and then do an affidavit that they are indigent. And a lot of times, certain things cannot be taken away. The state has costs that cannot be litigated, but other things can be litigated. So some of them they can do away with, other things you're stuck with.
Is this something that a judge would do away with? If you get into that situation?
Not like that. Go ahead, Derek.
Noticed throughout town here, not everybody is charged this. If it's not put on disposition, they work, go out to the attorney's office. If for some reason they leave it off, it's not charged. They have to put it on there to pay fines and costs.
Why would not everybody have to pay?
When you've got that many court cases going through at a time, back here with the district attorney, sometimes they just overlook it.
So who puts it on there, the judge or the district attorney?
Just think about it. That's okay. If that's his plea that he's worked out to pay fines and costs and court fees. And sometimes they'll waive court fees. Like Chris said, some things can be done away with the judge, and some can't. A lot of times people run to real system.
Go ahead, Don, sorry.
That's fine. But that brings up something, because I know I'm getting off topic here, but there's just been so many opportunities that I've seen here for, one, this new position, and for a fresh look on some of the things. Maybe the processes need to be looked at, things that get missed, and there's somebody that needs to follow work with it, or check that the route that something goes from this courtroom to downstairs to out the door kind of thing. And the kind of thing that I talked about, some sort of forensic audit of processes, which could help, again, plug holes where you're losing some revenue, or judges are just missing things that this commission says, you know, we really don't need you to do that, that hurts us financially. But also on these fees, on those that are indigent or slow to pay, can't find the $200 that they find easily other ways, when they do set up payment plans, these fees pay first. When the courts set up those payment plans, percentages of that always goes to fees first, not just to whatever the fine is, any other amount that's owed on that. So the court costs are always included in any slow pay process that's set up as well. It may take a little longer to collect it, but it is there. So that's what this resolution does. And again, the conservative revenue is $20,000. I think, I take that conservative.
Just for clarification, is that the one with the TCA 67-4-601, or, I want to make sure, or is it Tennessee Code 16-15-5? Okay, so it's this one right
It is
here. TCA Code.
67-4-601. It starts whereas TCA 67-4-601.
This one, good. Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm looking at the right one. So y'all, we're on the same sheet. Okay.
Now, this one will have to go before the General Assembly to implement it because it's a population-based lip tax. So you would pass it here, and then in January would be the earliest implementation date for it. They start the General Assembly session first week of January. So there's no delay with new sessions. There are new sessions that will begin in January, and we can get this filled in the first items.
So is that a private act?
No, it's a change to general law. The way they have it, general law of local application, is you base it on your population size. Every county has to choose to do this. They don't mandate it for all of them. If we start seeing more of these come up, it may become a general law and not have the population breakdown. Only because we're adding in your county to this is why we have to go to the General Assembly to add a county this size in it.
Okay, the other question I had was, this one doesn't show whether this is a 2/3 majority or a simple majority. And
This one is a 2/3 majority.
is it consecutive meetings or
No.
just a single?
We don't need-
Single meeting, and, this is not the one we have to renew every year. That's the next one, correct?
we shouldn't have to do any of this every year.
The increase authorized by this resolution shall remain in effect in King County until the end of the fiscal year which the increase is enacted, and shall be reenacted and repealed or adjusted annually to ensure that the revenue generated by this resolution does not exceed. That's on the next section two.
So this is kind of, this is general law, kind of like the 19, this is a change to like the 1981 Act. This is a different function, different, way of managing. Reading that?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of like the 1981 Act, same thing. Okay.
In my passenger budget, we read it.
Yes.
It's a passive reenactment, not requires that the repeal or annual adjustment would be something that would require action beyond just approving the budget.
Ms. Barrett,
Yes, sir.
when you mentioned that this increase would put the county in line with most other counties, were you speaking adjoining counties or counties of similar size?
So, any other questions? Would you like me to move on to the next resolution, explain it, and we come back and vote on this if you choose?
Sure.
Okay, all right. Let's move on to the next one. All right. Your general sessions judge salary. Currently, that's $15 per case. And since 1990, the compensation of the general sessions judges has risen significantly due to population growth and annual salary adjustments based on inflation, which are provided for in the law, basically mandated by law. Your general sessions judge increases are an unfunded mandate that come down from the state. And what portion the state doesn't cover, you cover the rest, plus the benefits and all of that. Because the state was getting pushback and realizing they were passing this unfunded mandate down on the general sessions judges, they have allowed counties to now come in and increase to assist with that annual mandatory inflation and salary adjustments that come along down from the state level. You have the disadvantage of having oversight from the state because the state wanted to level out the judges' salaries across the state. But you have the great advantage of having a judge that doesn't have to compete, you're not having to compete because they're all having the same salary. You're not worrying about losing folks after spending $40,000 training them and going on somewhere else for another salary. That said, state realized that they were putting a new burden on the states and a funding mandate. So they allowed with TCA 1615-5006 for the counties to level additional litigation tax specifically for the judges' salaries. Again, that you're already incurring out of your general fund. So this proposed increase is $25, so it adds $10 to the case. And
Is that the maximum we can offer?
no, it's not the maximum you can offer. It's what I felt would be most appealing to this body with everything else that's being proposed at the moment. You could go higher, but I think this really is where you need to start and go up from there and see how things flesh out.
Can you increase?
This can go up. I think it is annually. It would be cost of living level.
What would you say that the 25 is projected premium?
General sessions,
20 grand.
this is the 20 grand. When we're talking about this increase, the 50 grand was the $85,000. So I had the wrong number on that slide when we're talking about this one. This one's the $20,000 a year. It goes to your general sessions judge salary, so $20,000 or whatever it generates can come out of your general fund and go somewhere else. This will be dedicated to the general sessions judge salaries.
We currently do 10.
Currently do 15. Currently $15 per case, it would increase to 25. Yeah, one of the things I would recommend, if you're talking about what the DAs can dismiss and bargain down with and all that, have a serious talk with your judges, DAs, and bring them in and say, look, we need your help. I know you're trying to help the folks that can't afford this, but by doing that, you're passing on to taxpayers who don't have a job with this stuff because they're not using the facilities and they're not causing the problems. They're the good tax-paying, honest citizens. So give us a break here. Where are you going to put your emphasis on? All right, now let's talk about the adequate schools adequate facilities tax. Yes, I know we brought this up before. And as a reminder, it is it's a per square foot fee on new residential development. It can be as high as $1 right now, that's the top out. We've got some more slides I'm going to show you in a moment. But to give you background on it, it's going to be on new homes, new apartments, new mobile homes. Half would be due permit issuance, half due before occupancy certificate. And the certificates are either issued by the state fire marshal or by, when we're talking about mobile homes, it's Middle Tennessee Electric or whatever the electric department would be for those. They're familiar with these adequate facilities fees. It can increase 10% at 4-year increments. Public buildings, places of worship, ag buildings, disaster repair, 501c3s, light, distress, urban renewal zones, you're not an urban renewal zone, are all exempted. So if somebody comes in, their house is destroyed in a tornado, rebuilding that, they're not going to have that fee, have to come in and pay this adequate facilities tax again. The money goes to fund capital expenditures for public school system. Up at the top, I said it was approximately $100,000 annually. And then I said at the bottom, we're looking at a $40,000 conservative annual revenue estimate. And both those numbers can be applicable. Let me explain why. We'll get to that in a moment. I want you to look at this, and I know the numbers are small, so I will try to go over them. What I've done here is, so I've gone all the way back to 2010 for the building permits that have been pulled, residential only. We've got the number of residential permits pulled for each one of those years. I'm assuming a 1,500 square foot average house. And I've looked at it for $1, 75 cents, 50 cents, for 25 cents.